Hi, my name is Eduardo Ox. I'm the author of eev, and this is a video about how to use a feature that I just added to eev a few days ago in the beginning of May. I added several blocks saying video links to the tutorials of eev, to the sandbox tutorials that have names like find blah 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 intro. Before I start the technical part, let me just say two other things. First of all is that the painting is totally unrelated to the talk. It's just to make things look nice. And the second thing is that because of the pandemic, I'm staying most of my time at home, and my attention span became much smaller. And many of my friends are in the same situation, and I decided that I had to make eev more friendly to people who have very short attention spans. So let's start the technical part. I'm going to explain the new feature. Remember that the tutorials of eev are things like this. We can execute a sexp like this and open the tutorial, or we can remember that one of the main keys for beginners is method j, and method j explains that you can execute this sexp by just typing meta5 method j. I'm going to explain how to use these two blocks here that I've copied from the main tutorial. The first block is from section 6 of the main tutorial. We can see it here. Let's follow this sexp. Let me go to the place where this block appears here. So I'm going to explain how to use this. If we open this tutorial in the browser by following this URL here, we are going to see an HTMLized version of the tutorial. So here we have a copy of this block, but this thing is HTML. It's not something that is in Emacs. And note that each one of these lines have two hyperlinks, one here and one here. This hyperlink here goes to this position of the video. You can look at the target here at the bottom of the screen, and you can see that the last part of this target here says t equals to 10 minutes and 36 seconds, which means YouTube, please play this video starting at 10 minutes and 36 seconds. And which video? In this case, it's going to be the video about installing and navigating in eev, and in these lines here, it's going to be the video of my presentation in the Emacs Conf 2019. Let's test. If we click here, it takes a few seconds, but it plays the video. Ta-da! It works. Here. Let's go back. Oops. Let me go back to section 6 here. And these first links here, they go to help about how these things work. They are always the same. They always point to the tutorial to a tutorial called find-eevnavvideo and to section 2 in this tutorial. So let's try to follow this to go to the help. So we are in section 2 here, and it explains these things that I've just explained. This thing here points to YouTube. This thing here points to this section, and some extra information here that I'm going to skip. And then it ends with this thing, with this paragraph that is a bit mysterious. It says, if you follow this find-eevv something video sexp hyperlinks in Emacs, you will usually get a temporary buffer with links to that video. See the next section. But I'm going to explain that in practice. So we have just learned how to follow these links in a browser. Let's now see how to follow them in Emacs. Let me go back to section 6 if I need to go back to this page I've afterwards. So here we have a copy of these blocks of video links, and let's see what happens if I execute this sexp here. If I execute it, I get a temporary buffer with a lot of information, and this second line here says it says to invoke MPV, that's the default video player that Eev uses, to play this file here, that's a local copy of that video, starting from this position. So let's try. If I execute this, it takes a few seconds, and yeah, I get it. MPV plays that video. And note that the last line says local file found, no need to download it again. If I execute this line here, it's going to say local file not found, you need to run this. And as the local file is, the local copy of the video is not here, if I try to execute this, it's going to give an error. Let's try. It doesn't say the error very clearly. We have to go to the messages buffer to see the exact error. But if we execute this, it calls MPV, but it does nothing. MPV tries to play the video, it can't. It yields an error message that goes to another buffer. So, we need to run this. This thing here is a block of shell commands that downloads a local copy of a URL. If you need help about this, you can follow this link here that explains this idea of downloading local copies of files from the internet and putting them in canonical places. Let me switch to a smaller font for a short while. Let me start this. So I just called wget to download the local copy, and if I go here, I see that, oops, that I got the local copy here. Let me switch to a bigger font again, and now that I have the local copy, this thing is going to work if I ask it to play the video. In Emacs. Using this sexp, if I run F8, everything works. And note that now that I have a local copy, if I execute this thing here, I'm going to get this temporary buffer here, but the message at the end of it is going to be local file found, no need to download it again. So the trick is that to follow, I think one of these sexps here in Emacs, we just have to execute it, and if we already have the local copy, then the sexp in the second line is going to work to play it. If we don't have a local copy, then the message at the end of the buffer is going to say local file not found, and it's going to give us a script that we can use to download the local copy. So yeah, that's it. If you go to the page about this video, we're going to have a link to all this script here, and it has some sections about the things that I've just explained, but with more detail. And there's something that I forgot to explain. Notes. Sorry. You were not expected to see that. That's a header of this file. Note that these links here, they create a buffer with lots of stuff here that I did not explain. And this thing here is the address of the video, of the MP4 file of the video at my home page. This thing here opens the directory with the local copies. I have downloaded several of my videos there. And this thing here is the YouTube URL. So note that here we have the identifier of this video. Here we have the timestamp, 10 minutes and 36 seconds. And if I open this thing in the browser, it opens YouTube and it plays that video starting from that position. Let me go back. Yeah. Okay, so the temporary buffer has some other things that I do not want to explain now because they are considered advanced features and most people have very short attention spans nowadays, so they do not want to learn that now. But let's see something else. Just as a curiosity, let's look at the source code of this function. If we follow it, I've just typed meta h, meta f to display links about a function. This link here goes to its source code, so let's follow it. So here is its definition. It's defined as a function that receives one relevant argument, that is the timestamp, and it accepts other arguments, but it ignores them, and it calls this thing here. That's a low-level function called find-eevvideo links, and note that it calls find-eevvideo links with all these arguments here that are hard-coded. So find-eev 2020 video calls this thing here with the timestamp at the end. And these things here are used by find-eevvideo links to build the temporary buffer with lots of information, including where to find the MP4 file, what is this timestamp here, what is this short string here, and the YouTube ID. Okay, I said that I was not going to explain the advanced features, but I changed my mind. Let me just show very quickly one of the advanced features. Note that we can play these videos from Emacs by executing this thing here, then typing the down key, and then executing this thing here. So it's meta e down meta e, and it plays the video. Sometimes we do not want the temporary buffer, we just want a way to play the video right away. So this mysterious code here does that. It's this line here points to a section in the tutorial that explains what this thing does, and it explains that this call to code video will redefine blah 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 to make it play the video straight away. So if I execute this sexp here, it redefines find-eevnavvideo so that instead of creating a temporary buffer like this, it just plays the video right away. Let's try. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what I wanted to show. That's actually more that I wanted to show because I ended up showing one of the advanced features. Yeah, that's it. The end.